So my theme today is how to earn safe, high yields in today's economy. I'm going to start off with kind of where we are economically, and then go through a whole bunch of different ways that you can make your money really work for you. And every time rates fall by a quarter point or more, it automatically comes down with
Well, nobody seems to be happy about it.
The vast majority of that money went to keep public service workers in their jobs, which isn't a bad thing, but teachers and, firemen, policemen, and all that, they would have lost their jobs. They kept their jobs, but it didn't, stimulate a huge number of jobs. This was not like Roosevelt and the CCC or something, and huge amount of infrastructure being built. It gave you that impression, but that's not in fact what happened.
Will the voters put the heat on Washington to do the right things here?
Well, they should. I think what's happening, though, is that the lobbyists are going to overwhelm the will of the people. The stimulus will give you a deduction for that whether you lease or buy. It's sales tax, however you pay it. And Neil, it really hasn't gone down to the pump yet.
Jordan Goodman is an author and personal finance expert.
People over 50 are really the hard spot these days because employers are very cautious to take on not only the salaries but the benefits that they expect. There are oil and gas master limited partnerships, or what are called MLPs. Now, these are not a pure play on oil and gas. What they do is infrastructure. They have pipelines that bring the oil from the fields to the refineries. They do storage facilities. So they tend to have long-term contracts to supply the oil and so on. So their prices of the MLPs don't go up and down with oil prices the way the oil income trusts do. They're much more stable. So they currently have yields of 6 to 9% paid quarterly. Okay, now this is compared to your treasury bills earning 0, basically.
The reason I came today was I'd actually heard Jordan Goodman speak 3 or 4 years ago in Tampa, and I knew how valuable his information was. So when the subject was how to obtain higher yields in these times of low interest rates, I was really motivated to come hear what he had to say, and I'm glad I came.
I feel that the elderly is impacted most by what's going on in the economy now, and any ideas as to how to increase earnings and wealth is something that we all should be looking into. There were a lot of topics that were offered that I had not given consideration to and are worth looking into, reading more about, picking up his book.
Would you recommend this Jordan presentation to a friend?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, they all should have been here.
Frankly, a little fed up that most of the investment community can only tell us about annuities. And it seems that these are quite often inappropriate for seniors. And Jordan's presentation is a breath of fresh air. It seems like something we can do for ourselves. Obvious from his presentation, I'm not as well invested in the types of investments that are out there. I think Jordan's leader on this is going to be very valuable for our future.
What brought me to Jordan's presentation was the enticing topic of earning a little higher rates. I tend to be very conservative and very risk aversive, and I'm always open to new ideas, especially if they fit into my rather conservative formula. Jordan opened up to me some new vehicles for investment that I wasn't aware of. I tend to have a very narrow range of things that I invest in, and so he made me aware of several new things which I intend to look into and to research.
Those of us that are trying to plan our retirement are always looking for something in the way of safety, but in addition to that, we'd like to see some growth. Jordan is a super speaker. He speaks very well, clearly, and enunciates things, of course, very well, and it was a pleasure to listen to him. And of course, the topic was exceptionally good, so I personally enjoyed it very much.
I jotted down a lot of notes, and I copied all the websites that he suggested, and I'm looking forward to reading his book. It is definitely one of the best financial presentations that we've heard in a long, long time. And I'm so glad we came.
He's very down to earth, and he simplifies investment. A lot of people don't invest because they think it's too complicated, and he certainly does a great job of simplifying that. And when you attend his lecture, if you can't take away a lot of ideas to help you in investing, then you really haven't listened very well, because he's done a great job.
All these asset classes that you've discussed here today, I wonder if you could kind of rate them from a risk standpoint.
In purchasing bonds, just say whatever bonds, isn't it a more conservative strategy to actually hold a diverse portfolio of individual bonds, say laddered, rather than invest in a mutual fund?
From what I read and hear, the expectation is that we're going to be heading into an era of famine, that food prices are going to go up worldwide. As a result, it's been indicated that some of the agricultural stocks might be good buys, and I'd like your opinion on that.
What is your call on interest rates, and do you believe that inflation will track interest rates?
With all this new income we're going to have, you haven't mentioned anything about tax strategy. So outside of municipal bonds, do you have any secrets about how to shield that high income?
Just a quick show of hands, if I can see with these lights. How many here today are members of the Glenridge? Just raise your hand real quick. Okay. And how many do we have invited guests? All right, all right. And how many can say that this is actually your very first time at the Glenridge Performing Arts Center? Wow, well, welcome. Welcome to all of you. We're happy to have you here today. That was excellent information. Another round of applause for Jordan Goodman.